If you're tired of marketing feeling like an uphill battle full of algorithms, ads, and empty numbers, well, you're in the right place. I'm Larissa Werstiak, founder of Joya, a woman-founded and women-led marketing agency that believes compelling stories are at the heart of every legendary jewelry brand. For more than 8 years, we've been elevating jewelry businesses of all sizes by focusing on what truly matters: heartfelt narratives, strategic content creation, and authentic connections. Think of this podcast as your weekly marketing huddle with someone who understands your journey inside and out. And the best part, it's on your terms, whether you're sipping a latte, tackling your to-do list, or simply taking a moment for yourself. So let's toss aside the one-size-fits-all playbook and create a marketing journey tailored to your brand's essence. You bring the vision and I'll share the expertise to make your jewelry brand shine in a sea of sparkle. Welcome to episode 314. As you can imagine, during the holidays, storytelling resonates more than ever. Why? Well, this time of year is filled with heightened emotions, traditions, and a deep need for connection and meaning. People aren't just buying gifts, they're seeking moments that spark joy, create memories, and strengthen relationships. I'll be exploring how to make storytelling the cornerstone of your holiday marketing strategy and why it's the key to setting your jewelry apart. I'll talk about how the right stories can create a sense of warmth, nostalgia, and anticipation, transforming your jewelry from a simple product into a cherished part of your customers' holiday experiences. So whether you're already weaving stories into your marketing or you're looking to get started, this is it, everyone. Before you know it, you'll be harnessing the magic of storytelling to create connections that last well beyond the holiday season. And in the Goldmine segment, I want to share some personal insights on evolving a brand voice. If you're a regular listener or YouTube viewer, you might have noticed that I updated the podcast intro. Did you catch that? I've had that old one for, definitely more than a year. It's been a while, but it started to get me thinking about how a brand voice evolves over time and the importance of letting it settle before making changes. So stay tuned to hear my insights. But before we dive in, a quick reminder, this podcast is available in both audio and video formats. You can either listen on your favorite podcast platform or watch on YouTube by searching Joya. Support the podcast by subscribing and leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's free and greatly appreciated. And if you didn't know, I also co-host another podcast, Success with Jewelry, with my friend Liz Kantner, a fellow jewelry marketer and founder of the Stay Gold Collective. We offer a free version available on all podcast platforms and YouTube, plus a membership community with extended episodes and extra resources. For my fellow sparklers with small jewelry businesses, I've created something just for you, JoyDeck, a marketing platform designed to support small and emerging jewelry brands. JoyDeck members recently started the 30-day holiday promotions challenge running throughout November, and there's still time to join. Each day, you receive one actionable step to keep your holiday marketing on track, and it only takes about 15 to 30 minutes of your time. It's a great time now to start a trial. You can get free 30 days by going to myjoydeck.com/trial, link in the show notes as well. All right, let's get into today's episode, my sparklers. Jewelry, as you know, is an emotional purchase, and emotions run high during the holidays. This season gives you the opportunity to connect with customers who are already feeling reflective, generous, and nostalgic. To be the jewelry they choose for making cherished memories, your story needs to align with those emotions and themes. So let's talk about how to do that. First and foremost, identify your brand's core message. So reflect on what makes your brand unique and how that can translate into a holiday theme, like tradition, family, love, new beginnings. To begin this research, start by reflecting on the core elements that make your brand unique, like your mission, your values, and the emotions that you try to evoke in your customers. Ask yourself, what story does my brand tell year round? And how can that narrative be tailored to fit the holiday season? Look too at what your jewelry represents. Is it about tradition and heritage, a celebration of family and love, perhaps embracing new beginnings? And once you identify these key themes, think about how they align with the emotions people experience during the holidays. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe they're feeling extra generous. Maybe they're craving togetherness and family time. And to do that, you can dive into past interactions you've had with customers, into your testimonials and your feedback to find those recurring themes, sentiments, and stories that will really resonate with your audience at this time of year. And this insight will guide you into crafting a holiday theme that not only reflects your brand's essence, but also connects deeply with the values and the emotions that your customers are already feeling at this special time of year. So let me give you an example. Let's say your brand specializes in vintage-inspired jewelry with intricate designs that evoke a sense of history and timelessness. Year-round, your brand story might revolve around celebrating craftsmanship, heritage, and meaningful heirlooms. If you were to translate this into a holiday theme and a holiday story, then you would think about how your jewelry could represent the passing down of tradition, the joy of family connection, and this story could focus on like treasured memories or heirlooms for the next generation. And this really would align with how people reflect on their family roots and they create new memories during the holiday season. You could even, if you had them, look at past customer stories or feedback where you have clients mentioning that they gave your jewelry as a gift to a loved one, how maybe it reminded them of a cherished family piece. And highlighting and bringing forth those stories in your marketing show that your jewelry isn't just a gift. No. It's a bridge between generations. It's a reminder of shared holiday traditions, or it's a new memory in the making. That way, this approach ties your unique brand identity with the emotions of the holiday season, making your marketing message resonate much more powerfully with customers who are looking to create meaningful connections through their gift giving. Also, at this time of year, it's so important to connect with your audience's values. As you've probably gathered so far from this episode, understanding your audience's values is essential for making that holiday marketing strategy that resonates. People are drawn during this time of year to brands that reflect also on their own priorities and beliefs. So if you're looking to connect with customers on a deeper level, you need to know what matters to them, not only at any time of year, but more especially at this time of year, and then position your jewelry in a way that's in alignment with those values. So start considering those key themes. Are they looking for sustainable and eco-friendly gifts that reflect their commitment to environmental responsibility? If so, and that's part of your brand values, then you want to highlight your sourcing practices, your eco-friendly packaging, any initiatives that support sustainability. But maybe that's not your audience. If your audience values heritage and tradition, then you'll want to emphasize the timeless quality of your designs, how they can become cherished heirlooms, just as I was mentioning before, sharing the craftsmanship and how the piece will last a lifetime, and how creating this long-lasting gift is a true value of yours. That will resonate with the right customer. If your brand sells a lot of symbolic jewelry or personalized jewelry, then that could connect with someone who cherishes and values personal connections. So showcase pieces that can be personalized or have sentimental value. And again, sharing stories of past customers who've experienced the joy of giving or receiving your jewelry as a special token. By aligning your values and your messaging with what your audience holds dear and what is especially important to them at this time of year, it will just be a perfect, natural, synergistic fit. I think for a lot of brands, even if you kind of know all of these things that I've talked about, or do you feel them intuitively? It's still sometimes hard to take those concepts and ideas and practically turn them into some kind of holiday story or some kind of thread that runs through your holiday marketing. So I want to give you some more practical tips. One, there is the hero's journey approach. You may have heard of this before. It's a really common structure for storytelling. So, in this framework, you stick with me, okay? You have a character that goes through stages of challenge, growth, and transformation, ultimately returning home changed and triumphant. I'm sure you could think of a lot of books and movies that kind of follow this structure. You may not believe me, but this same approach can be tied to storytelling around your jewelry during the holiday season. If you think about positioning the jewelry as the hero of its own story. So, for example, let's say you have a necklace that's like the most perfectly giftable necklace, and you don't understand why not everyone is buying it as a holiday gift. So, you would share the journey from the initial design. Maybe it's a design inspired by a childhood memory of twinkling holiday lights. And then the journey continues to the meticulous craftsmanship. And then you detail how the piece overcomes challenges like sourcing rare materials or those tweaks that you have to make to ensure the design is perfect when it comes to life. And finally, you show how it transforms into a treasured gift, and that becomes part of someone's holiday story. It's a symbol of love, of connection, and celebration. This is a beautiful narrative that we've just created here, and it adds depth to the piece and makes it feel like it has this epic tale attached to it. It's much more than just a product. It becomes an artifact with a soul, and it carries something meaningful for the person buying it and the person receiving it, in case that's someone else and a person's not buying for themselves. So it's something to consider when you're trying to craft these narratives. Another approach, I've kind of mentioned it a few times already, but the personal. So nothing will connect with your audience quite like stories from real people. If you have testimonials, if you have reviews, those create an emotional bond that really show the impact your jewelry has had on other people's lives. Maybe you've had a customer who gifted a bracelet to their mother last Christmas, and there was a note about how it reminded them of shared holiday moments when they were young. It's kind of making me emotional thinking about it, because it makes me think about the meaningful moments that jewelry has played in my life. We need to talk about those more. So you can include details on how the gift was received, the emotions it evoked. Was it joyful, tearful, a cherished reminder of holiday traditions? These are things that need to be front and center during the holiday season. And you're providing a service by illuminating this for your customers to help them realize that this can really add depth and value to their life and to their traditions. And then lastly, sometimes you kind of have to give your customers ideas and examples of how the jewelry can play a role in their holiday traditions. So, for instance, maybe you have a pair of earrings that you truly believe could be part of like a really nice Christmas Eve ritual, sparkling under festive lights as family members gather for dinner, or telling the story of a necklace that serves as a lucky charm, worn each New Year's Eve to symbolize new beginnings and hopes for the coming year. You want to be highlighting those stories. I can't say it enough. And if you don't have good stories from your customers, try to get them. Or try to kind of create them yourself, even if it's not coming from real people. I mean, don't lie to your audience, but paint a picture for them. Kind of help them imagine what this would look like. I think that will make such a difference in your holiday marketing. And then thinking through all of this, also focus on creating a multi-sensory experience. You don't want your holiday stories to live solely as written text. You need to bring them to life through multi-sensory ways, and that way captivating the audience and evoking warmth and the magic of the season. And I did kind of talk about this in the holiday gift packaging episode, but let's kind of run through this again and see how you can apply it to holiday storytelling. So, as you know, visuals are such powerful tools to set the stage for your holiday storytelling. So bring those glowing lights, the festive backgrounds, the garland, the tinsel, all of these holiday cues, the warmth into your imagery. So maybe your jewelry is nestled into seasonal settings, like on a bed of fresh pine needles or next to a steaming cup of hot cocoa. This not only highlights the beauty of your pieces, but also frames them as part of the holiday experience. Audio elements too. This is kind of overlooked, I feel like. Instagram Reels encourages you and enables you to put trending audio. In some ways, it's a little bit annoying, but I really do kind of like it during the holiday season because you can pick sounds that evoke the spirit of winter, of the holidays, things that feel familiar and trigger memories for people. So even if you had something softly playing behind a video, I think it does help create this sensory experience. As I mentioned, in the gift packaging episode, I talked a lot about texture. But even in the written context, if someone can't feel what your packaging looks like or they can't feel your jewelry, you can still evoke sensory experiences that make the season come alive. So for example, describe how a bracelet catches the soft glow of a fireplace, reflecting on the warmth of the flames, or how a pendant feels cool to the touch on a crisp winter morning, contrasting with the cozy layers of a holiday outfit. All these details go such a long way into painting this picture for your audience. And last but not least, I need to talk about calls to action. End your holiday storytelling with a compelling call to action that invites your audience to do more than just make a purchase. Encourage them to become part of the story. Remind them that when they choose your jewelry, they're not just buying a product, they're selecting a piece that has meaning and craftsmanship and a story that resonates with their own experiences and emotions. So encourage your customers to think about the stories they want to share through their gifts. You can also prompt them to share their own stories after purchasing. So maybe you include a note with each order that says, every piece has a story and now it's part of yours. Share your moment with us or tag us to be part of your specials, to let us be part of your special celebration. You can copy that. I don't care. That's a free for you to use. This not only reinforces the emotional connection between the jewelry and the recipient, but also encourages user-generated content that amplifies your brand's reach and authenticity. And overall, the goal here is to reinforce the idea that choosing your jewelry is not just a purchase, but an investment in memories and meaningful connections. What do you think? I'd love to know how you're feeling this holiday season, how your holiday marketing is going. Share your thoughts in a comment on YouTube or send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you and answer any questions you might have. All right, sparklers, it's time for the gold mine where I share personal stories from my own entrepreneurial journey and connect them to impactful marketing lessons. In this week's gold mine, I want to talk about the urge that I think all business owners have at some point to just shake things up in your business, but also knowing when to let things sit and when it's actually time for a change. Especially when you're running a small to medium-sized business, what I have found myself is there's a lot of intuition involved alongside strategy, particularly if you're the founder or a leader. You might have clear goals and a well thought out plan, but there's still this element of having to feel your way forward with your gut. And I've been thinking about this balance a lot lately, the strategy versus the gut, and how in some ways they kind of fight with each other. When I recorded the last episode, 313, I found myself saying the intro out loud, which I've been saying, as I mentioned, for more than a year. I couldn't even figure out how long I've had that intro for. And suddenly, when I was saying it, I found myself thinking, what the heck? I'm over this. I need something new. And I didn't just have that feeling because I had been saying that intro so many times. It was more that it just suddenly no longer resonated with me. I felt kind of disconnected from it. Not because it was untrue what I was saying, but it just felt like it needed a refresh. And this realization, even though I know I'm saying it was in that moment when I was recording that episode, the funny thing is that realizations like that don't actually happen in the moment. They don't happen overnight. I think there are so many little things that happen over a period of weeks and months and years that get you to a moment of revelation like that, when someday you feel that shift and you know it's time for a change. And I think, at least in my journey, I've found that it's natural and even necessary to have moments like that. And as I said, they don't actually come out of nowhere and they're not random. When I took a step back from that feeling, when I was recording that episode, and I kind of sat with it, and I spoke to a few trusted friends and colleagues before I actually made any changes to the podcast intro, it really became clear to me why I felt this way. There was no direct feedback from anyone. It was more like subtle clues, like comments here and there, new insights, a deeper understanding of myself, a deeper understanding of my business, all of those things cumulatively happening over more than a year's time. And these realizations, they build so gradually. They're just like different pieces of things that you store and you pay attention to when all of a sudden you have this intuitive revelation and you know there's probably action that needs to happen. And at the same time, simultaneously as I'm saying this, being open to change, listening to those voices in your head that say, okay, this is no longer feeling right anymore. At the same time, it's also important to choose a direction and stick with it for a while. Because when I first created that old podcast intro that no longer felt good to me, I did feel very confident and very aligned with it. In my mind, it communicated exactly what I wanted to say. I would say it and I felt good about it. It was right. It was solid enough for me to say it for over a year. And if I had changed things on a whim every week, I definitely would not have learned what truly resonated with me and what didn't. So you do at the same time need to ride out a direction until you feel that moment that it's time to evolve. Like you've learned enough, you've gathered enough feedback and insight, and thoughtfully now, it's time to make a change. So what about you? Are you feeling that nagging, persistent sense that something needs to change? Has it been a while since you've made a change? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. It's something I've been reflecting on a lot lately. So drop me a DM on Instagram or leave me a comment on YouTube. If you want to reach out, you can always email me Larissa, that's LARYSSA @joyjoya.com. If you love this podcast, please share with a friend who'd appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe as well as leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're completely new to digital marketing, then you'll want to purchase and read a copy of my book, Jewelry Marketing Joy. Visit joyjoya.com/book for more information.